Hello everybody, it's BYG Agami back with another video, and today I got a quick theory for you guys. Not my theories, rather Fan Theory Friday, a series that I introduced on my channel weeks ago. I think this is the second episode throughout the series, and that was because I took a little time off from YouTube. Just wanted to chill out for a little bit, but now I'm back and this will be coming on weekly. So let's jump into the first theory, and this is by PK Studios. Below he says this: yes, I could really see that, and also I think Revolver or Yusaku's father created the AI and Cyverse. Now about Kogami destroying Cyverse and Ignis is maybe the AI did something to Revolver's father. And I have a feeling that Kogami is a friend of Revolver's father, and he's trying to get revenge even though the reason is simple, but couldn't really think of other ones. Great theory. Thank you for the compliment, PK Studio, and also I gotta say, you have a really good theory as well. Honestly, in this theory, there's probably like several theories just in one little YouTube comment. So let's talk about the first bit of this theory, and it's Revolver or Yusaku's father created the AI and Cyverse. So let's just talk about this real quick. For Yusaku's father, I'm not gonna dive into that simply because we don't know anything about Yusaku's father just yet. And looking at it, and Yusaku, I think he's an orphan, very similar to Go Onizuka and Aoi Aizen, because in episode 2 we saw the 6 characters, including Yusaku, those 6 babies. Now what could that mean and what could that entail? We're just gonna have to wait because time always tells the truth. However, for Yusaku's father, I think that maybe he will appear later on in the series as a subplot, or possibly an upcoming villain. Maybe Yusaku's father, very similar to every single Yu-Gi-Oh character that's a villain for the most part and has a very grand and detailed backstory. Maybe Yusaku's father turns evil, he becomes corrupted, which I could see happening, and maybe Yusaku has to fight off his father. I mean, that would be a really interesting plot because I've never seen that in Yu-Gi-Oh! At least from the 3 series that I've seen almost to the end, I've never seen that. For Yusei, it was more so, I have to avenge for what my father did, and then he later figures out that Reverse Zero wasn't his father's fault. It was much more of Iliaster's fault. But still, he had to deal with it, and that's very evident in Bonds Beyond Time. I mean, he had bad dreams. He had to avenge Neo Domino City for what people think of the Fudo family. Now, imagine the Fujiki family appearing inside VRAINS and how that could play out and how much of a toll that would play for Yusaku's character. And for the first time, we can see him down, backed up in a corner. I would really love to see that, and I think that's very interesting. However, for for Revolver's father, maybe he did create the AI or Cyverse world, but in episode 8, it sort of seemed that, and for what was given about Dr. Kogami, that possibly he created the AIs along with the Cyverse world. But I still do see the possibility that maybe there was a cooperation between Dr. Kogami and Revolver's father. And that's why Revolver is so much into this whole Link variant stuff, that he wants to capture Ignis so that he can fulfill his father's wishes, which I think is a very strong motive. I instantly get callbacks to Junichi from Duel Monsters or Joey Wheeler, because Joey went through a lot of family issues growing up. He had a bad father, but for Revolver's case, it seems that he has a good father. I mean, his son, essentially, Revolver, is going to such great lengths. I mean, waiting 5 years. He's a very motivated person, so I get callbacks to Junichi a lot. However, the thing also goes on to state that, Revolver and Kogami have a friendship between each other, and he's trying to revenge that Revolver himself in this theory that was given from PK Studios. And I can see that happening. I can very much see that happening. And to be honest, I would really love it if VRAINS sort of did that, because look at it like this, right? If VRAINS has a main issue going on, which is Link VRAINS along with Cyverse, that's the main issue going on. But if there's much more background in terms of the story, and there are much more family problems going on for Yusaku's side, for Kusanagi's side, for Aoi Aizen's side, and to some degree for Go Onizuka, since that orphanage, the children there could sort of, somewhat be called his family, because he grew up there. However, for Revolver, if there's much more on that as well, then I think VRAINS will hit home in terms of being a good Yu-Gi-Oh series, because when you look at the manga, right, when you look at every single character that has issues, it's mostly the ones with family problems. Meiko Tsunami in the Japanese dub, English dub. Father lost SC. Junichi, dad was a drunk. his parents were divorced. His mom had his sister, and he never got to see her that much. For Merrick, dad was a complete dick. I mean, literally, his father was a complete dick to him. Let's go on. For Igami, orphan, but he had a father figure that got killed. Who else could there be? I mean, Odeon or Rashid. He never had a family, but he looked at the Ishtar family as one, and look what that happened. He was essentially the repellent for Dark Merrick. However, there were still some family issues going on with him. And the thing is, I've noticed that female characters from Takahashi's writing really don't face that much, except for Mai. I don't really know the whole backstory on Mai's manga portion, like in terms of her character. But I do know from Battle City, we know in the Japanese dub that Mai was an orphan as well that lived in a really big ass house. And that's why she has that lone wolf mentality, of, don't have friends. Don't take this whole cheering bullshit. It's not going to help out. It's much more about being true to yourself, staying with yourself, and fulfilling your goals by yourself. And then, of course, Yugi and Junichi, Yugi and Ko, the whole gang, meets her on Duelist Kingdom, and then she sort of alters her way. But in Battle City, we also see that she tries to fall back to her old routes, and it seemingly doesn't work. So I do want to say thank you, PK Studio, for the theory. Now let's move on to something else. And this is another theory, which is by M. Wiseman, and he states, another reason not to trust Ignis. There's a reason he's an outcast in the Cyverse. He did something to his own kind, so for that logic, we can't trust him. We don't know what he is capable of. He could kill us in a heartbeat. We don't know. And I think it's talking much more about, the Link VRAINS characters, or the characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. And that's true. That is a very true argument, right? And the reason why is because we don't know the full potentials on Ignis, nor do we know anything about him and his background stories. He's very similar to Yusaku. They parallel a lot in terms of he only remembers fragments of his memories. And that was due to him getting eaten apart by cracking dragon towards the ending, or actually rather the beginning portion of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, in the ending portion before the 5-year time skip occurs. So I could see that happening. As for not trusting Ignis, I completely agree. We should, rather the people of Link VRAINS should not trust Ignis along with Yusaku Fujiki. I think that until Yusaku and Ko figure out much more detail about Ignis, then they should start trusting him. And Yusaku doesn't trust Ignis that much, to be quite honest. I mean, he put him in a box essentially, trying to sort of lock him away, and Ignis tries to escape, so he's sneaky. He's very sneaky. However, when it comes down to the dueling, they work with each other, because I don't see it as more of effort in terms of trusting each other, but I see it as more of, I need you and you need me, so let's team up and get out of here, and then we'll go our separate ways. I can see that happening with Ignis and Yusaku because it's just too early. However, in the duel that's currently going on against Revolver and Yusaku Fujiki, I think that we're going to figure out much more information about Ignis because of Dr. Kogami, and Revolver has some sort of relationship with Dr. Kogami. So what that means is there's going to be a lot of info dumping, and if Yusaku figures out about Ignis, maybe there's a distrust between them. Because look at it like this, right? Dr. Kogami and Revolver have probably known each other for a long time. I mean, for all we know, he might know how Revolver looks like, his real form, not his avatar. So if we put that into consideration, then you would imagine that Dr. Kogami has told Revolver everything about Ignis. And if that does occur in their duel, the info dumping, and Revolver does tell Yusaku what Ignis has done that we don't know of, because he sort of hints at in episode 9. Do you really know everything about Ignis? And what's his name? Ignis tries to convey away from that message that Revolver is trying to tell to Yusaku. So maybe Yusaku does figure out, maybe they don't trust him. Kusanagi and Yusaku. I could possibly see that happening in the future of VRAINS. Possibly. However, guys, that is the Fan Theory Friday for today. I do want to say thank you to PK Studio along with Wiseman, or M. Wiseman. Guys, I greatly appreciate the theories. Check out the Facebook and Twitter fan page regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. Comment your theories down for the next episode of Fan Theory Friday. I really do enjoy this series. Thank you guys for watching.